Yo, what is up everyone and welcome back to another YouTube video with your host Kenkukun, and today we got another Destiny 2 Trials training video. Water. Now, I went through my videos and I looked for a Cauldron map callout video or just a Cauldron map tip video, and I really didn't cover too many tips on one of the videos I did. If there was a second video out there, I did not see it in my collection, so I'm going to go ahead and go over. I'm not going to go over the callouts. There's a separate video for that already. I'll just have a link in the description below if you're watching on YouTube. Hello, YouTube. But here we go. So I'm going to give you some generalized tips now. A lot of the engagements will happen. There's three main places where engagements happen. I would say one of the main engagements is if an enemy team likes to play outside, or a team likes to play the outside angle by bridge. And then a lot of teams, if they spawn at that spawn, they like to come over here and challenge from here. And then they decide what they want to do. And then if you have the other spawn, or the enemy decides they want to go that way from their spawn at any point in time, usually people will take over the middle and play the middle. So so let's go ahead and cover some tips if you come out of this spawn or you find yourself at this part of the map, right? If you look at this map, it's built in chambers. You have, this is a chamber, this is a chamber, you know, bones is a chamber, the middle is a chamber. The outside is like the only non-chamber like area. And what I mean by that is the chamber is like a very small enclosed space, right? So if your whole team comes up here, let's talk about the pinch. If your whole team comes up here and you don't recognize when someone's pinching, right, or you're not paying attention, then this is why it's important. This is why I run radar booster on my guns, or like on my shotgun. Sometimes I'll run it on my hand cannon. I used to run it in the past on my hand cannon. But radar booster is very powerful. It's going to help you make sure you're not about to get shot from off the radar, right? So consider that for a weapon where, you don't use Icarus grip because you're not really jumping around a lot. So put on radar booster instead on one of your weapons, right? But as you challenge this door, if you don't know that all three enemies, and this is just basic awareness once again, if you don't know where all three enemies are, everyone can't be sitting there like this in a rift waiting to die. You have to know everyone's all in there, right? You have to be aware of that. So I guess I got to reiterate the rule. Aim down your sights, even for a sniper. Aim down your sights. 1, 2, 3. You know, someone needs to check their radar. Yeah. So keep that in mind. Another little thing is people can still jump up on those coffins. There was a hunter that did it to us yesterday. They were up on these coffins. I don't know exactly where. Was it this one? Okay, they were up here and shot their tether, and it just got, I don't know, it went to the door and never did anything until a later time. So people could still sit up on the coffins, right? But other than the pinch, right? So the pinch is obvious, and that works for any room. You move yourself to any one of these 4 chambers, and you run the potential of there's 1, 2, 3, 4 angles to be shot from, right? You come in here, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 angles to be shot from. You know, so if you're not paying attention, you could easily find yourself in a position to be pinched, and then you have 3 callouts, and everyone says, "Yo, let's push this way, or this way," and no one, you know, and then maybe you have one person commit, the other person starts to run and then hesitates and then gets shot, and you know, it turns into a big cluster, right? So really pay attention to enemy movement. This is not the same game as D1. D1 there was a lot of snipers on both teams, so there was a lot less rotating, I would say, from D1 to D2. So let's go ahead and so that kind of covers that. Again, these are just pretty basic tips. I guess I will cover this too real quick. The door. If you don't have someone sniping on your team, right, and you're playing against a good team, a tough team, a team that's, you know, got really good team shots, force them to open the doors. Don't open the doors for them. Don't. Are you on their team or are you on your team? Because if you're on their team, then keep opening the door for your teammates to be team shot, all right? And I'm going to, you know, I cover that in another video And I'll cover it a little bit here too. I cover it in the other video in the link in the description below. If you are opening the door from this angle, right, then everyone else that's, you have one guy shooting in the room and one person over here, but you're not effectively shooting anything. So 3 people get to actively shoot on the enemy team and not be by that door. Like they don't have to force themselves to, peek at, well, I can only peek this little bit, or, I have to walk into the door and get shot, or I can only peek this little bit. No, they have the freedom to move around, back up, get some distance, right? Because you're opening the door, right? So if you don't have a good sniper on your team that, hey, can you open the door for me, or something of the such, leave the doors closed, let the enemy open them. Again, this is more for teams that are really outgunning you as far as team shots go, all right? Now, if you have multiple people set up in the room, if you do have a sniper on your team sniping through the door and you're holding it open, you got to remember that when they start shooting, if they're not landing their headshots, they're probably being shot at by 1 or 2 people. So, use your utilities to throw people off. Boom, put a grenade down, right? And then maybe peek in, or maybe if you're holding the door and they're not, the enemy, get your grenade a little further in, right? Get a little damage, because if they hit a body shot and your grenade can finish them off, that'll be good. Again, you got to be careful. When you walk into the door, you might just be walking into 2 people hard scoping, where your teammates not really exposing themselves too easy, right? And you just walk out and die. So you got to be careful. My general rule is to leave the damn doors closed. Just leave them closed. Let the enemy wants to open them. They want to fight. They can open them themselves. Don't give them, don't give them the help. All right, so let's go ahead and tackle the outside. I usually don't tackle the outside. The outside, you have 3 angles you can shoot from the outside. You can have your whole team take up. This gives you a little bit more breathing room, because it is a more open area. It just depends on, can you land shots or not? Can you not expose yourself or not, right? You fight by cover. If you're fighting the long game, you fight by cover, right? So just briefly keep in mind, if you come from either side, your main points of engagement are going to be here and the top of the bridge. Sometimes the enemy will drop down low and challenge you from there. It just depends on what the enemy's doing, where they're going, what you're doing, what you're looking at, so on and so forth. Sometimes an enemy will flank, but once again, any area on this map. And if you divide the bridge on this side of the bridge, to the other side of the bridge, you can kind of consider that a chamber-like area, because now you usually won't have 3 people spread across 3 doors, because that could lead to disaster. And then trying to hold the bridge from up here, it's pretty dangerous too. I would do it maybe if you had a Titan shield that you can put right here and peek out to the left. Not the shoot through one. The shoot through one will die quickly. But I usually wouldn't find myself on this bridge to shoot into 3 people, or with the potential of shooting at 3 people, or 3 people opening that door and shooting me really easily, right? Even with a sniper or a one-shot weapon, it's very risky. Oh wow, even in private matches it kicks me. Let me pause this and load back in. We'll be right back. All right, and we are loading back in. Yeah, once a day when I start up Destiny for the first time, it kicks me. It kicks me once and then leaves me alone. Some days it doesn't kick me at all. Not too big of a deal. It's a modem thing. I just haven't looked into it. I haven't looked into the changes that people recommend, and just because it's not too big of a deal. I get kicked once, when I'm not in a match, as long as I remember it. So anyway, we were outside. Yeah, I wouldn't stand on the bridge and I wouldn't split my team and try to hold 1, 2, and 3 doors. Unless it was overtime. Maybe on overtime, but then again, you need like really good stuff to do that. And then if they open the door on overtime, if you have like a good grenade, right, you just, hey, all right, you put the grenade there, right? So if they open the door, they shoot at you, but then the door, you just take cover for a moment and the door starts to close. You get back on the zone. They want to come back through that door, or open that door, they have to touch your grenade again. And then if you do have people on the outside, it's probably easier to hold the door on the outside from right here, because you have a little bit of cover you can use, right? And again, when they open doors, or you think they're going to open doors, it's just grenade. Just throw a grenade at the door, right? If I had a teammate capping the zone, and I said, they kept the zone for 5 seconds. Because my grenades last 10 seconds, I would just throw my grenade, be like, all right, throw the grenade, call it a day. And then if they come through that door, I don't have, they're going to be a little bit weak. Either weak enough for me to turn and shoot, or weak enough for my teammate to finish them off if I, die instead. From this side, you can use the rock, all right? The rock can help, and you can shoot from either side of the rock, right? And for any enemy to push out that door and kill you, right, your teammate is up here. This is a big thing, and they can look either way as long as they're not being contested right there. This is a big thing. There's a lot of people that don't understand how to cover people properly, and I'll have to break out paint for that one. I'm really gonna have to I'll have to break out paint on that, and I'll probably cover that sometime this week. How to set up with your teammates, to recognize. If everyone recognizes their own teammates' weak spots or what they can and cannot look at, right? And then everyone can understand what your teammates are looking at, and you can understand, oh, I got a teammate down there. I don't have to worry about over there, really. So, I can worry about over here or up here, right? Or I have teammates on either side, so if they say, hey, so-and-so's rushing me, right, I can peek one way or the other and shoot them. So, once again, against a really good team, if you split your team between 3 doors, you're going to have a really tough time. Even in one-on-ones, you think the one-on-one would be better, but some people, they don't, when they play and they engage their one-on-ones, they don't miss because they're just at that level of skill, right? And the pressures, they don't feel that pressure. Anyway, moving on, same thing from over here. So I would say section off one side. If you're going to hold the outside, from one side and get some good team shots in, right? So now you only have 2 points of entry or 2 points of engagement and 1 point of engagement. You can see 2 angles already, right? And then maybe if an enemy flanks, they flank, but you'll be ready for it, right? You can call it up, be like, hey, look, let's get this guy that's flanking. Don't go at them too early, because if they don't flank, if you don't allow them to put, to get on top of you, right? If you don't allow them to get close enough, they'll just run away, and you'll just have given up your position, and you're just chasing a person versus collapsing on a person. Bones is probably the worst place to hold, more so than pool. It's just a smaller room. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 angles people could come from. Again, maybe it's a little bit easier to hold because it's smaller. I don't know. But it seems like it would be, because you have less space, it would be tougher to hold. So anyway, same thing here. You watch the door, pay attention, don't get team shot, so on and so forth, and be careful. Another basic rule of thumb: if you're dying to snipers or you're dying to team shots of the same stuff or bows like that, right, and you're getting out, you're getting killed, right? No matter how you look at it, you're the one dying. The enemy team is not. You need to challenge from a different angle, or you need to tell your teammates, say, I can't challenge this angle. How about you? Right? Maybe someone else isn't going to have the tough time that you're having. All right? Maybe someone else is not going to have the tough time you're having. So ask your teammates. And then you got pool. Pool, I would actually say pool is a pretty dangerous place to hold. They can challenge from a great distance, right? So you could catch a snipe in the side of the head and won't even know it. They could be off radar over there, to be honest. So, but the same thing. I mean, you just got doors. You work your angles. You pay attention to where you're getting shot from. You watch the radar, right? The radar's going to tell you, usually where you need to engage, where you don't. Again, there's not much to say. There's only so many ways I can say how to engage an enemy from map to map, right? So, and then when you hold the middle, now the middle is probably the most. I would say the middle is the most valuable area to have on this map. You put yourself in the middle, the radar shows all directions. Any engagement the enemy wants to make, they're probably on the radar. With that said, if everyone's not paying attention, so I played a team yesterday and they would 3 split, right? And we didn't realize and adjust on time, and we lost the game. I don't know if it was by, I don't know if we got 5-0'd or if it was a close game. But at the end, we were like, we should have pushed one side or the other, because they constantly split in 3 different directions. And yeah, we probably should have. And I thought about it earlier, but didn't voice my opinion. because I was trying to do something else and I just got caught off. You know, I just got caught up and I didn't pay attention. So a lot of times, again, if you're not watching your radar, you're going to die. It doesn't matter if you're in the middle or not. Some people, well, the middle just has too many angles. Man, there's too many angles at every angle, all right? This isn't, you know, Wormhaven. It's not like a straight line and no one can go around you. It's only head-on fights, all right? Any place on this map has that same potential. Now, with that being said, communication is a big one. Communication, communication, communication. If you're in the middle and you are watching angles and you do notice someone splitting on the, hey, I think someone's going around on the radar, right? Then just follow up with the next call out. It's, I'm going to go challenge that. Or if you're here, don't be the one that says, oh, I think someone's going around the radar, and then you like start making the marathon across the middle. There's no reason for that. Just tell your teammates, hey, I think someone's going around the middle. Can someone look at that? I'm looking, you know, I'm watching gold door. And boom. And now you have someone in a better position. Just shift their attention versus you getting out of position, turning your back to one door or two, and getting shot in it, right? If you're already watching something, you know, and you need your teammates to work to cover a different angle, communicate that, right? Communicate it, communicate, communicate, communicate. That is the biggest destiny killer on teams, is there is not only a lack of communication, but then there is people don't know how to communicate good. Not even great, just good, which is something you work on. But what everyone should be doing is communicating and calling out to the best of their ability, right? I got all the enemies in one area. Okay, you know, call it out. They're all in the same spot. Okay, they're all, oh, something on the radar is moving outside, right? And you know, you call it out, and you let your teammates know that maybe further back in the room, up by the bridge or on the other side where it may not catch on the radar, they're ready to know. You might have a sniper right here, and lo and behold, that door opens, or they're opening that door and they don't even realize, hey, you know, there's a guy over here, no one's paying attention, and they just get a free snipe through the door because some other guardian on your team has the door open, right? So again, you got to be very careful with these doors, and you need to, you know, you need to be aware. It's all little basic things. As far as the doors go, again, I covered that in another video. Leave them closed, leave them closed, leave them closed. That's what I would say most of the time. Try your luck, though. You won't get better at engaging through them. You won't know what teams you shouldn't open those doors for versus others until you do, right? So hopefully this video helps you a little bit. Again, there's not much else to say. Abilities, Titans should always have a Titan shields for heavy, even if you have low resilience. Try to make sure there is a shield for heavy. Grenades, you know, make sure you use your utilities. There's a lot I've covered in other videos, and I can't cover it all into this because, well, we'd be here for hours. Anyway, I'm about to start rambling. It's like I'm trying to, there's so many things I want to like pick up and discuss that I talked about yesterday, but I think the big thing is communication, watching the enemy, you know, watching the radar, paying attention to enemy rotation, right? And knowing again, a big one, knowing what angle your teammates are shooting from and when to help them. Again, if you open that door for a sniper on your team or someone with a scout or someone with a pulse or just someone at all, and they start shooting, the enemy team could quickly, because you're opening the door for them, the enemy team could quickly shift 2 or 3 people to shoot at the guy over here. And now they got team shot where you're just holding a door open and you're not sure, last time I looked through the door, I died or I got shotgunned. At that point in time, it was not worth it for you to open that door. Your teammate should have just, the sniper on your team should have been very patient because they needed to wait and let the enemy slip up. The enemy will get impatient. Hopefully, once again, this video helps. Catch me over on Twitch, link in the description below as well. Thumb up, comment, let me know your concerns with this map. It is Halloween, but it's not like Spooky Trials, no spiders showing up on your screen. There is, you know, it's not, the radar is there. The solo queue playlist is there. I didn't like it, but I only did 3 games. I thought I had like the worst teammates on my team, and you know, or I just like played like doo-doo. So with that being said, I'll see you guys next time. Good luck. See you at the lighthouse.